And my ass remains lip-free. NASCAR 21 isn't the next generation game it was hyped up to be.
I was about to give this game a fucking compliment. You need a dick for that.
Motorsport game stock is plummeting again, coinciding with the release
To Motorsport. Motorsport had also acquired some development teams in Black Delta and Studio.
Don't buy NASCAR 21. It is the worst NASCAR game I've ever played.
Oh, you just went over, dude!
This is fucking... This game's just as broken as it ever was. Don't...
Today we're not talking about NASCAR 21 or motorsport games or any shitty, sad NASCAR games. We're taking a vacation from all that crap. That's right, folks, because just as I predicted back in 19 months ago? Whoa. NASCAR finally got tired of locking themselves into multi-year death spirals with lackluster game studios that can't seem to get their shit together. So, in addition to finally cutting motorsport games loose and voiding their exclusive rights to make NASCAR games, from here on out it looks like NASCAR is done with handing out exclusive rights altogether. Now, for the first time since 2003, anyone with the time and money can try their hand at making a NASCAR game, and once again the scramble to win over fans will fuel fierce competition between development studios, ultimately leading to better and better NASCAR games for everyone. So why am I here today? Because I think we could all use a reminder on just how easy it is to make a good NASCAR game. And I've got a pretty good idea already for how it could be done regardless of the time or manpower a studio has. Today, we're just going to talk about how cool me and my hypothetical NASCAR video game are, and you're all going to talk about all the cool things you would put in a NASCAR game, and we're all going to have a good time. But first things first, we're going to need some direction here, or things are going to get out of hand. Like if I sat here and told you everything I'd put in a NASCAR game, we'd be talking about game modes that recreate older NASCAR games, and an arcade mode that plays like Burnout 3, and like, if I don't upload this thing sometime this year, I'm gonna be the one that unsubscribes. So let's build this NASCAR game as if we only had about 18 months to push it out, and as if we only had a moderately sized studio, about the same size as Eutechnyx was when they took over. This is gonna keep us grounded in reality so that we all remember we're not talking about some fantasy game that's never going to happen, we're talking about something that's entirely possible. Typically when making a video game, between 80 and 90% of your development time goes to fixing bugs and tweaking things like difficulty and movement once most of the game is already complete. So we'll be talking about a game that is very compact, but still full enough to stand up on its own as a solid game. This game is going to be stable. This game is going to be fun above all else. This game is going to be NASCAR 24: The Big Show. In NASCAR 24: The Big Show, there would only be room for 4 game modes: Single Race, Career Mode, Challenge Mode, and Online Races. Here's a quick rundown of the basics, we'll go more in depth later, alright? Single Race Mode is Single Race Mode. Rules, driver, track, buy. Career Mode is going to focus primarily on making a name for yourself. If you want to race in NASCAR and shine brighter than everyone else, this is the mode for you. Gain fans, manage your team, manage sponsors, and make yourself known amongst the biggest stars in the sport. Then there's Challenge Mode, which should be pretty familiar all in all. There'd be real-life scenarios and fictional ones, as well as a trophy system to track your mastery. This mode right here is where you'd be tested more than anywhere else. Think Gran Turismo for how it would handle difficulty and rewards. And lastly, this game would also have public and private online lobbies. You'll still get double fucked in turn 1 though. I can fix games, I can't fix dumbasses. Just use your mirror and watch for the battering ram. Now, how would NASCAR 24 actually feel to play? My goal for the gameplay is that perfect balance of engaging and forgiving. The handling needs to feel engaging enough to make controlling the car more than an afterthought, but forgiving enough for casual players to not throw the controller and storm off.
What a fucking job!
More difficult than the NASCAR Heat series, but less demanding than the Thunder series. And the AI competition in NASCAR 24 would follow the same mentality as the handling. The AI need to follow the same rules as the player car and offer a decent challenge to even experienced players, but you shouldn't have to rig up your own custom setup just to have a chance. we're not doing any more of that slot car grip cheating bullshit! If we can design AI opponents that understand proper bump drafting, pitting, passing, and lane choice, that would be
just a beautiful thing right there. Put that in your fucking game.
We'd also be using a new take on the grudges and alliances system, so you can develop all sorts of dynamics with all sorts of drivers. But before we dive into that, this game is going to have some other pretty rad features. First, we got the basics. A little paint booth, a few alternate paint schemes right off the bat, maybe get some pre-race commentary from Mike Joy, but like, maybe he's 10 to 20 years younger before the passage of time sucked all the Mike Joy from his Mike bones. But beyond the basics, you'd also have unlockable content that you can only get from playing the game. That's more alternate schemes, more drivers, alternate versions of tracks, and all as rewards for completing challenges and tasks within the game. There'd also be a replay booth that would be designed in a way that has never been done before in a NASCAR video game. I don't want to spoil it, you'll just have to keep watching, dude. But you know what's cooler than all of that combined? Cheat codes, baby! It's been about 15 years since we had cheat codes in a NASCAR game. We're bringing them back, and it's going to be nuts. Alright, that's enough about the bones of the game. Now we're on to the meat. It's time to talk about what makes NASCAR 24 the kind of game we could really use right now. The kind of game that makes you say, hey, we should go play that cool new NASCAR game. Now, let's get into what needs to make it into the full release of NASCAR 24. Single race mode has always been the quick fix for racing action. There's nothing like just being able to jump into a car and go racing. So single race mode would be in there right where it always is, and just how you expect it to be. But if the racing is addicting enough, such as is the case in NASCAR 07, well, some players might end up spending more time turning laps in single race mode than in career mode. I mean, let's say you do a few races. You have a good time. You have a great time. But after all that, the game goes back to the main menu, and, well, nothing's changed. It's sad. I'm sad. Why are we still here? Just to suffer? Wouldn't you want to feel a little more satisfaction and acknowledgement for all your time spent? I can't keep this up. I've got other shit I want to do. I'm back, guys. It's been a second, as you can tell. So as you all just saw, I've been working on this project for a very long time. And at this point, it's either do this, or we get no video at all. So, we're changing things up a little bit. You're going to get the rest of what's going to be in NASCAR 24, what I would put in our very doable and very fun NASCAR game, while I do something a little wacky. I got a whole whiteboard with everything I want to talk about, the actual details of the game. We're not being vague anymore. We're going to get into the meat of this bitch. I'm going to mark it off as we go, while I'm trying to play NASCAR Racing 2003. I'm going to try to talk about all this crap, play the game, mark things off, and not make an ass of myself. The first question you might be asking is, okay, what about single race mode would you actually have to do? Single race mode is pretty much the same in every game. Why change it? You see, what I'm doing right now, playing NASCAR Racing 2003, something I do all the time, something I'm sure a lot of people do, is just play around with all the different cars that you can download and all the different tracks you can use and just set up different scenarios for myself, little challenges, and see if I can conquer them, get to the front, all that kind of thing. As fun as that is, the one thing that is always missing in every single race I've ever done is that there is no stat tracking, there's no recognition of any kind from the game for all the work you've put in or whether you beat your own challenge or not. So the idea that I came up with was that you can give the player recognition and you have to put in almost zero extra work to do it. There'd be two different modes in single race mode. Casual mode would be the single race, quick race thing that you've always known from every game. You can go on there, dick around, do whatever you want, and the game doesn't care, just go wild, no consequences. Then you would have competitive mode. Competitive mode would track your stats, so give you a little better recognition, with the addition of maybe it would track how you do over the course of a month, over the course of a year, so you have a progression. Disabling cheats, disabling assists, and disabling restarts. We're capitalizing on the fact that, oh, this is for people that want to kind of challenge themselves in ways that the game doesn't already provide. I would love a victory lane, but that kind of takes a lot of time to put together that kind of scene. Because, you gotta put in every single driver model, you gotta do, all the animations. It's a lot more money and a lot more time. And this is, game number 1 of a series, so we don't really need to go through all that. We would do a victory burnout. After the race, you just kind of, whoa, hold on, we're slowing down. Oh, you bitch! Oh! I think I'm going to try that again. I think I've gone over everything in single race mode pretty well, so... Woo! Oh, the whole board's moving. Oh, shit. Career mode just has a pretty proven formula at this point. You would be able to fund your team with the winnings that you get from races. You'd also be able to fund your team with merchandise sales from your fans. It would pretty much be directly how many fans you have would contribute directly to how much merchandise you're selling. And you would also make money from sponsor contracts. As much as I want to go full bore and do a Thunder 2004, you can do every specific machine you can upgrade and add to your shop and all this intricate stuff. We're still talking game 1 of many. So I would be totally fine just taking that star system from NASCAR 06 and using that for the upgrades to your team members, the upgrades to your cars. It saves a lot of time to do it that way, and it's just as effective at the end goal of making your team better. Why did you stop in the fucking middle of the corner? I also thought it would be pretty cool if we could show the popularity that you're getting as you go through career mode by having the actual crowd at the track react to you differently based on how well you're doing and whether you're driving dirty, driving clean. Whenever you finish a race, take the lead, win a race, whenever you're doing burnouts, all that stuff. If the crowd is reacting differently as you progress through career mode, I think that's a really good way to show that the fans are more than just numbers, but it's also super easy to program. It's literally just how loud do you want the crowd noise and what do you want the crowd noise to be at different levels of popularity. The big focus I would put in career mode is the kind of stuff that I think is really what a lot of drivers really enjoy, or what's really a huge part of the experience if you actually have a career in NASCAR, and it's the interaction between drivers and the image that you build for yourself. Your prestige and your reputation. Prestige is a pretty solid thing. It's pretty much just your legacy, what people see of you as far as whether you're successful or not. Even if someone comes out and wins their first 2 races in the Cup Series, if they go and finish back of the pack in the next 36 races they run, they're not going to have much of a legacy. They're going to be kind of a flash in the pan kind of thing. So prestige would be this really slow changing thing. It would affect how many fans you have very directly. It would affect the kind of sponsors you have access to. Reputation would essentially just be the ally-rival thing that's been in so many other NASCAR games. But how reputation would actually affect your career mode instead of just being some stat that we track is that, number 1, obviously, it would affect how people race you. If you're making rivals, they're going to not give you as much room and kind of hit you now and then if it gets to that point. If you're making a lot of allies, people give you a lot of room and they might actually move over for you. But it would also affect fans and sponsors for you. People like an intimidator, and people also like a really clean driver. There's definitely fans for both. So if you move out of that neutral area in between and kind of gravitate toward one or the other, those are both going to get you more fans, where you don't necessarily have to be successful, to still have people buying your merchandise. And the same thing for sponsors. Sponsors like personality. They like someone with an image. So you'll get a lot of really good sponsor opportunities and very different sponsor opportunities depending on how far you go in either direction on reputation. So it would all have to do with what you're doing on track, including something that's very, very new. That hasn't been... I just fucking drove directly into the wall. What an ass I've made of myself today. Have you ever finished a race in one of the Thunder series games, and you've been like, oh man, I wanted to make allies with this person, but I never saw them in the race? Or, oh man, I really wanted to get back to this guy and give him a shot because he hit me earlier in the race and I'm pissed off about it. What if the computer didn't take control after the race, and you had the entire cooldown lap to maybe make those connections that you didn't get to make during the race? And you had the chance to either give them a shot, give them a hit, and that affects your reputation points with them. Or you go up to them after the race, you hit a button, your driver gives a little thumbs up out the window, and you share a nice little cool moment with the driver that you want to make friends with after the race. Put a trophy room in that bitch. Put a trophy room in that bitch. You just have to have a space that starts out empty, and then you get all the models for the trophies, all the 3D models for the trophies, and you slowly populate that area with all the trophies, and it's like, wow, look, I've got all the trophies, I'm really doing good. Satisfying, people love it, it's low effort, low time spent on it, boom, there you go. Now I've got to find a place here where I can mark off career mode on the whiteboard. Alright, here's going to be my chance, coming through the tri-oval. Yeah! Oh god! 4 laps to go. My car is gone. I wonder what happened to it. Alright, I feel like we've seen enough of Atlanta. Got most of the way through that race before the wreck, so we'll just take that and say that race is over. I wanted to move on to something else that's going to let us just kind of relax and focus on the... Oh fuck, is this Darlington? Well fuck it, I guess we'll just not relax at all and just leave the anxiety at 110 fucking %. Now we're gonna talk about challenge mode as I beat the back bumper off the fucking 30 car. Because I don't want to be here. You didn't see that? I'm going back before you saw that, back to the past before that happened. There's really not that much to say about challenge mode. It's kind of just a bonus, a fun little bonus. We would do it in the way that it pretty much is always done. It's another one of those modes that has a proven formula that you don't really have to mess with. You have to beat all of the challenges of Rookie at either Bronze, Silver, or Gold to unlock the Veteran challenges, and then same with unlocking the Legend challenges from the Veteran mode. The only thing I would really be doing that's different is not really that different if you know the Gran Turismo games. It would just be having that online leaderboard on every single challenge. I like going after the Bronze, Silver, and Gold, but I also like, whenever that's over, being able to compare my times to other people's times and just be like, yeah, I beat the challenge. But how did Billy Bob do on that challenge? Did I kick his ass? Oh, one thing I would do also is if you get 100% gold, like you do every single challenge, and get gold on every single one of them, I think it'd be a really cool reward to give the player a challenge mode gold themed car that they can use in both single race and in online mode. In single race it's just kind of a neat little knick-knack, but in online mode it would be this really this humble brag kind of thing where you show up to a race in the gold themed car and you're like, hey, look who's got a big swinging hog. Oh, fuck, back her down, fuck. Oh, baby. I like that. Online mode, I have even less to say about, because it's freaking online mode. As long as you don't have, really crappy servers and a lot of lag, people are going to be pretty happy with online mode, so long as the expected features are there. Just, public, private, league lobbies, all those things. The only things that are really kind of new to this is that I want to steal Rocket League's casual and competitive, which I kind of already did for single race without mentioning Rocket League, but I think that would work so good for NASCAR. is to have Andy Houston, you bitch! One thing I hate about Rocket League, by the way, where even if you're on casual mode, it still tracks your stats, even though you're playing casually. In the NASCAR 24 online, casual would just be a total dick around. You wouldn't have to track your stats. It's just kind of no stakes. Everyone have fun. The one other thing we would do with online mode that hasn't been done before... cheat codes, motherfucker! It would only be in the casual mode, not the competitive, obviously. But dude, being able to use a bunch of wacky cheat codes just in any casual race, like you just have the option to do that. Imagine a cheat that just lets everyone be the exact same car, or like a cheat that lets everyone go at double speed, or have super draft. God, the chaos! I live for it. Now, coming off this corner, I have a chance to hit it, bitch! I got it! Oh shit, I actually did it! I can't get the brakes. I can barely get the brakes. Okay, we're good. Dude, look at that. Look at me. Look at my swinging hog. I need a themed car for me. I got passed by Mike Skinner while I was saying that. Here we go! Next up, we're going to talk about the physics and AI of NASCAR 24. And honestly, you're kind of looking at it with the exception that we want the cars to be a little less sensitive. The way that the physics work in NR 2003 is really good. It's based in reality, but it's just not something that the casual person is going to be able to pick up. So we would go for something that is still based in reality, but we go way easier and way more forgiving on like wheel spin and just like how sideways the car can get. And we actually want the cars to be able to get more sideways than the actual Cup Series cars would, because we're not trying to make a simulator here. We just want a game that's fun. I am so missing my line. Dude, I am not going to be able to do this. I fucking suck at Darlington. If we want to make actually just the act of turning laps be something that's more engaging and more fun whenever there's just no cars around and you're just turning laps, we need to unglue the car from the track, make it so that you can get a little more aggressive with it, get a little more sideways than you actually can in reality, but not go too far to the point where we're just playing like Daytona USA. For the AI, we don't want any of that slot car bullshit that you got in NASCAR 21, where everyone just kind of acts as a single unit that can suddenly and like fire forward at the speed of Clint Eastwood. If we can do AI pretty similar to how it's done here, where you just try to get the AI working on as close to the same physics as possible to the player, that would be ideal to me. I also want the contact with the AI, as well as the contact with the walls to an extent, to have a bit of softness to it, to where you're not gonna like catch the last millimeter of someone's bumper and it's gonna transfer like 100% of that contact. Okay. You hit someone and it's kind of like, ooh, a little crunch to it. Even if the actual model of the car isn't like bending and crunching like that, the feeling should still be like that, to where you can give these soft pushes, but you still have a point where if you hit hard enough, it's like, yeah, it's gonna fucking wreck someone. When it comes to room that is given on the track, I think the AI should be giving priority to the player for two good reasons. First of all, the game is made for the player. The game is not made for the AI. No one gives a fuck if the AI is having a good time. What matters is making sure that the player has a good time. So if that means giving the player a little extra room on the track so that they can do whatever fun thing they want to do it. Let the AI move over a little bit. Just not that NASCAR 08 for PS3 shit where they start going on the apron because you got a little too close to them. The other reason that the AI should give the player a little extra room is that the AI is actually in the game and constantly, every millisecond, being fed information about what's going on in the race. So they have a lot easier time being able to tell distance and tell momentum between cars than the player's going to be able to have, especially since the player can't even like sit in the car and feel the inertia, feel the momentum of everything. So yeah, let them be the one that kind of gives every now and then. But not too much, because you still want to be able to have good side-by-side racing that's challenging. There's got to be some sort of balance there. In the spirit of not having this be a simulator, we would not have any wheel lock, and we would not have any complicated aerodynamic effects. Why would we do this? Because neither of those is fun! Oh my god, the wheel lock in NASCAR 21? Are you fucking kidding me? Jesus, that was impossible. It was just annoying. And how many casual people are going to be able to pick up the game and understand why their car brakes good sometimes and not other times? And is going to take the time to learn why the brakes lock up and... It's just annoying, and it's like an extra thing to program that doesn't add anything to the game. And the same with, like, aero shit, like dirty air, side drafting, and so, well, side drafting can be kind of fun, but, like, dirty air and complicated aerodynamic effects don't add that much to the experience, and just kind of serve to make things more difficult, and it's just like a thing that would take a lot more time to program. No aero stuff except for draft. Draft would literally be the only aerodynamic effect that we need. The last little note that I have about the AI in the game is how reputation would work between the player and the AI on the racetrack. If you're hitting people, they slowly become more angry with you. It fills up their rival indicator or whatever. And if you're passing people clean, just kind of drafting with them, then they're gonna be nice to you. They're gonna become better friends. The difference in this would be that once you get to about 70% rival and 70% ally, it would take a much larger event for you to go past that. It's not like if you pass someone cleanly 100 times, they're suddenly going to be your best friend. That's not how it works. What you would have to do is initiate some major event to make someone either really angry with you or really happy with you. So say you're bump drafting with someone and you keep pushing them past cars, that would get you past that 70% mark. Otherwise, if you're trying to make someone a rival, or if it just kind of happens, you only get up to about 70% from the small contact, little bumps here and there. But once you wreck them, spin them out, something like that, then they're going to be really pissed at you, and you're in that final 30% range where you have a very stable, very concrete relationship with this person. Is like, hey, we're really good friends, or I fucking hate this dude. And that shit is gonna stick around a while. Alright, gonna mark off physics and AI. Talked about it, we are done. Alright. The way I see it, the features that you put in a racing game are pretty much the direct communication between the developers and the players that says, we know what you want, we didn't have to put these things in the game, this is just a little flavor that we thought would make you happy. Now, this is just the first game of many, so we don't want to get too distracted by this. We want to have features in the game, but we don't need to put a bunch of time into it, because we got a whole game to make. We would probably have to do preset paint schemes. I know it would be way more fun to have a fully customizable paint booth. I fucking love those. Everyone does. But this is game number 1. You got a whole game to make, so I think as long as you can still customize the car in some way, express yourself, it still does the job nicely. What's a lot more exciting is what I mentioned before, that we would have unlockables in this game. Holy shit, how long since we've had unlockables in a NASCAR game? It would come from single race mode, accomplishing things in single race mode, from career mode, from challenge mode, like beating all the challenges. There would be legend drivers, there would be alternate paint schemes, there would be like night versions of tracks that are usually day versions of tracks that are usually night. You know, that kind of shit. It doesn't have to be horribly deep, there doesn't have to be a lot of it, but just being there at all, so fucking cool. But it only gets more exciting. It only gets more exciting. Let's go 3 or 4 wide into turn 1. I'm on so many illegal substances at the moment. Custom replays. Why have we never, ever just been able to go to replay after we finish a race and be the director, sit in that director chair and be like, all right, I want this camera to play the race from this lap to this lap, from this time to this time, and then we switch to this other camera, and we keep it there for a while, and you keep going like that, directing, like you're directing the broadcast of the race, and then you save that as a video that you can go back to at any time and rewatch it, just like if you were actually like in a race and then went home and watched the replay of it. We've never been able to do that. I want it. But there's even more cheat codes, motherfucker. Oh man, oh, we're gonna do it. I want to put some cheat codes in the NASCAR game. It's been since like NASCAR '09, the last time we've been able to unlock that Chicago street course. We don't want it to be very complex. We don't want anything that's gonna break the game, you know, anything we're gonna have to do a lot of bug tests for. The most complex we would get is like a dart. We would have like a dart that you can shoot from the front of your car, and it doesn't affect anything but the tires on the other cars. And you can just go around, go up through the field, wrecking everyone with your darts, or you just like sit on the side of the track like you got the paintball and kind of hit people as they go by, make them spin out, make a big wreck. I think that'd be real fun on online mode too, making like a battle mode kind of thing. We'd have the double speed cheats, so you go real fast, and everyone loves going fast. You have a double grip, maybe half grip cheat, make it kind of like IndyCar, or make every race like a dirt race, you know. We would also have a what the hell else I put on here? Super draft. Oh man, the super draft from the Dirt to Daytona series was so dang good. You get up behind them at Talladega there, and you get up off the throttle and you still passing everyone doing 280 down the straightaway, I tell you, man. And even if it does break the game, who cares? Like, whenever you're doing cheat codes, maybe you do want to break the game. Maybe that's what you're after, you know, and as long as it doesn't mess with the progression of career mode or anything like that, as long as it doesn't mess with anything that tracks the stats, tracks you know, what you're actually trying to accomplish in the game, I think it's alright by me. Oh, and I also want to cheat where instead of the engine noise kind of being pitch shifted to match the RPMs you're running, I want it to just be a cheat where instead of that, it's just a guy going But yeah, man, that's about it. Honestly, after seeing like how little you really need to make a NASCAR game work, and how simple you can make a NASCAR game and still make it satisfying, I don't think we're ever more than like maybe a couple years away at most from having a really good NASCAR game. It's just about getting the right people behind it and having the right focus, the right blueprint, the right vision for the game. You really don't need much. It's fucking NASCAR. We've had so many of these games already. We know how to do it. It's just getting the right people to make it. And that's why I don't want people to lose hope and be like, oh man, NASCAR games are just going to suck forever because they just suck for so long. And I have no development experience. I'm just a fan of NASCAR games, as most of you are as well. We all know it doesn't take very much. And because of that, a good NASCAR game is always just around the corner. We just have to get the right people to do it. As long as NASCAR exists, the chance for a really good NASCAR game exists. And that's the whole point of what we're doing here today, is like, NASCAR games can be good. This is how. Thank you all for joining me on this ridiculous journey. I hope it was as fun for you as it was for me. This actual bit that I did here, trying to explain the game while doing this race, has been very fun to record. And we all need to be spending more time doing things that actually make us feel like we're having fun. Why is it chugging so bad right now? We need to be doing more things that are actually fun to us instead of just the things that we feel obligated to do. I felt obligated to do the video essay thing for this project, and at a certain point I just said, you know what? It's my project. I want it to be done so I can go work on other things. And now, thanks to this, it is done. And I can go work on other things, and I can get back to really enjoying making these YouTube videos. I've been sitting on this goddamn video since February or January of this year. It's August. Thank you all for joining me. We're going to have some more fun, and we're going to have some more uploads. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.